The official announcement has not been made by USA Basketball, so it'd be premature for me to have any conversations about any player or anything.
USA Basketball head coach Cheryl Reeve just brushed off questions about Caitlin Clark after Clark led the Indiana Fever to a big win over Reeve's Minnesota Lynx. Fans and analysts are all talking, trying to figure out why Reeve avoided the topic of one of the league's hottest rising stars. Clark's been turning heads all season, and this game was just another example of her impact. From the get-go, it was clear Clark was on a mission. Every time she got her hands on the ball, the crowd's excitement went through the roof. By the fourth quarter, it felt like Clark had chugged an espresso and was back in full force. She nailed clutch shots, made clever passes, and showcased everything you'd expect from a top-tier player. Her stats were off the charts, with impressive points, assists, and rebounds, reinforcing why she's one of the hottest talents in the WNBA right now, and it definitely sent a message to Reeve. Clark was probably thinking, "You passed me up for Team USA, watch what I can do." UNBA politics can get pretty juicy. On the flip side, the Minnesota Lynx had a tough night. Their defense, usually their strong suit, was all over the place. They couldn't keep up with Clark, and their offense wasn't much better. The Lynx struggled to find their groove, and their shooting percentage took a dive. Frustration was clear, especially as the game slipped away in the fourth quarter. They were up by 7 heading into the final period, but a couple of quick threes from the Indiana Fever shifted the momentum. The Lynx's failure to respond effectively on offense only added to their problems. It was one of those games where nothing seemed to go right. They looked almost like they were running on empty.
I think it's more of, the official announcement has not been made by USA Basketball.
The fan reaction was another cool part of the game. Even though Caitlin Clark was the away player, she had a ton of support in the crowd. Every time she made a play, the cheers got louder, making it almost feel like a home game for her. That kind of support can seriously lift a player's game, and it looked like it did just that for Clark. The arena was buzzing with energy, and fans were on the edge of their seats, especially during those nail-biting moments. At first, the home crowd was all about supporting the Lynx, but they couldn't help but appreciate Clark's talent. By the end of the game, it felt like she'd won over even the most loyal Minnesota fans. When Reeve finally spoke to the media, her tone was noticeably flat, a big shift from the confident remarks she made before the game. It was clear the loss hit her hard, and she struggled to find the right words. You know how sometimes you can just tell someone is really struggling to hide their disappointment? That was Reeve after the final buzzer. When it came to dealing with the media, Reeve seemed almost hesitant to engage. Questions about Clark were met with brief, almost dodgy answers, like she was trying to downplay Clark's performance. Instead of giving credit where it was due, Reeve focused on her own team's issues. She talked about defensive lapses and offensive struggles, but steered clear of discussing Clark. It was almost as if mentioning Clark was a painful reminder of the loss.
I told him I thought defensively we played, again, mostly well enough to win. Our offense is putting so much pressure.
Emotionally, Reeve seemed on edge. It was clear that the loss affected her deeply, not just as a coach, but personally too. Talk about a blow to the ego. It's tough to talk a big game and then face the music when things don't go as planned. Her body language said it all. Slumped shoulders, a softer voice, and a hesitance that wasn't there before, like someone had just kicked her puppy. She seemed to be second-guessing some of her decisions, especially those pre-game comments that might have fired Clark up even more. It's no secret that emotions run high in the heat of the moment, and for Reeve, this game was a perfect storm of frustration and disappointment. It kind of reminded me of how my mom looked at my 4th grade report card. As the head coach of Team USA, Reeve's words and actions carry a lot of weight. Her hesitation to give Caitlin Clark any credit raised questions about how she sees emerging talent. Team USA is all about having the best of the best, and part of Reeve's role is to spot and support top players, no matter any personal biases. This incident might spark a debate about whether Reeve can separate her role with the Lynx from her duties with the national team. For a coach at her level, it's crucial to recognize and support rising stars, even if they outshine her own team in a given game.
You know, when I met with Glenn to kind of talk about really from the 2019 off season to prepare for the 2019 season, from that point where we analyzed the coming drafts and we talked about free agency and what was our path, what was our best path and our best.
Let's be honest, many of us are wondering why Clark didn't make Team USA. Her performance, combined with Reeve's reaction, really highlights her rapidly growing influence in the WNBA. Clark has been on fire, and this game was just another win for her. Her knack for dominating on the court and drawing a crowd says a lot about her potential. The fact that Reeve had a hard time even mentioning her name shows just how much Clark is shaking things up. For a player so early in her career to make such a big impact is impressive. It's not just about the points she scores, it's about how she shifts the game and makes opponents adjust. That's the mark of a true superstar. Plus, she has the crowd eating out of her hand. In terms of league dynamics, players like Caitlin Clark are gold. They drive up attendance, boost viewership, and create a buzz that the league thrives on. Every time Clark hits the court, she's not just playing, she's putting on a show that fans love. This game against the Lynx was a perfect example. The energy in the arena and the cheers every time she got the ball really highlighted her rising popularity. The WNBA has been trying to boost its profile, and stars like Clark are a huge part of that plan. Her performances are attracting new fans, some of whom might be tuning into the WNBA for the first time just because they've heard about her. That a lot of players have stepped up to praise Clark for her amazing play. Her teammates from the Indiana Fever have been vocal about how inspiring it is to play alongside someone with her talent and drive. Even players from other teams have recognized that Clark is a real game changer and that facing her on the court is always a tough challenge. Coaches have also weighed in, suggesting that Reeve's hesitation to talk about Clark might come from a mix of frustration and competitive spirit. It's a reminder that in the heat of competition, emotions can run high and sometimes cloud judgment. Fans, as you'd expect, have been all over this on social media. The buzz around Clark's performance has been electric. X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram are packed with clips of her standout plays, and fans aren't shy about showering her with praise. Many are calling out Reeve for not giving Clark the credit she's earned, with some even suggesting that Reeve's comments come off as unsportsmanlike. It's clear that Clark has built a massive following, and her fans are quick to defend and celebrate her achievements. The broader sports community has also taken note, with many commentators pointing out that the fan enthusiasm highlights Clark's rising influence in the league. Sports analysts are diving into what this incident means for the WNBA and women's basketball as a whole, exploring the broader implications for the sport. Some experts agree that Reeve's comments, or the lack of them, highlight a potential issue with how emerging talent is recognized and nurtured in the league. There's a feeling that the WNBA needs to fully embrace its rising stars to expand its audience and boost visibility. Analysts also note that Clark's ability to spark such passionate reactions from both fans and critics shows her marketability and potential to be a key player in the league's future. They view this as a crucial moment for the WNBA, one that could influence how the league promotes players and connects with fans. With a chance to attract a new generation of fans, it makes sense for the league to seize this opportunity.